Right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching us across the states in Nigeria. I say our society can be described as the good, the bad, and of course the ugly because of the elements in it. And of course, it is left for us to decide what element of the society we want to become. When we choose to be good in terms of the kind of element of the society we want to be, we must always fight the bad. And of course, we'll continue to lend our voice against the ugly aspect of our community. Again, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain the convener of this platform, Kike Lomatunda, and of course I have just one of the Real Talk on the platform today. Dami, how you doing?
Beautiful, like you're clad in royalty. Purple, royal everywhere. I'm doing it the earth way, the green way.
Yeah.
Good afternoon from everywhere. You're having the pleasure and the privilege to see us today. I hope it's a beautiful day with us. Of course, it's the rainy season around the corner, and I will just enjoin us to keep our surroundings clean, because the flood will not ask you when it's going to come. But make sure that you tidy your surroundings and you keep it clean. And most especially for our children who are still going to school, please ensure that they are well kitted up. May God in His infinite mercy continue to guide us. My name is Damlola Bandere. Welcome on the show again.
All right, before we drown our viewers with our pleasantries and all sorts of messages to open the show, let's get to hear what on this day in history segment have to remind us, because I know that, guys, listen to this. We'll be right back. Right, exactly on this day in 1992, to be precise, 30 years ago, the African National Congress, that is ANC president candidate, that's Nelson Mandela, seeing his picture right there also reminded me of his leadership at the time. And of course, he's a man of character right there. And he visited he met with the United Nations, the Secretary General at the time, and also, what's his name again? I think, remind me, please.
The Secretary Clarence Makwetu.
I don't know whether that is well pronounced. Before our truth is being taken out. But guys, he met with the United Nations. They had a discussion for progress, and of course, a lot was said at the time that were affecting Nigerians and Africa as a whole. And I feel that that is what leaders should always do, to meet on the table, to actually deliberate and dissect on how to progress and look for how to the nation can continue to develop and grow. But in the society that we live in today, especially in the administration that is presently governing us, it's so unfortunate that sometimes we cannot meet and dissect certain issues that affect us. I hope that on this day in history segment will at least will pass a little bit of positivity to our leaders out there. What's your take on this, Damilola?
Well, I think that life and times of late Nelson Mandela, recorded by history, even from the indigenes of South Africa, I'm sure he's a president that they will wish, even if he reincarnated, to vote for him again and again. Somebody who staked his life several times for his people. Like you said, getting on the table, deliberating and finding solution backed with action. That's what I think in this part of the world, especially in Nigeria, we lack that willpower. We like to come to the table. There's always committee on this and committee on that. We're always taking a 30-man panel, 20-man panel. But at the end of the day, we keep deliberating on the table, and it's like when it comes to actions, we are weak. So 30 years ago, history has recorded what Nelson Mandela was able to achieve, and being the first South African president who served from 1994 to 1999. I think most of our leaders too can take a clue from his actions. Right. God will help us to move forward in grace.
All right, it's time for a quick message from our sponsors. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
We started our journey over 7 years ago, connecting travelers to their favorite destinations.
Since then, we have revolutionized how we want our passengers to feel while flying.
That is why we've introduced our brand new Embraer 195E2 aircraft.
Everyone has a face they need to see.
We are on a mission to add new destinations to our ever-increasing fleet.
Our Boeing 777 will take you on an international journey. Mumbai, Guangzhou, London, Johannesburg.
And now, Airpeace is adding a new destination.
On the 1st of March, Airpeace will begin a new adventure to a brand new destination. Join us as we celebrate our first flight to Dubai International Airport.
Airpeace flies you from all our domestic routes to Dubai from Lagos at no additional cost.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. Of course, it is the end of the month and the last edition of Real Talk with Kike in the month of June. And we have been discussing all sorts of serious political and governmental issues, you know, all through the month, or should I say all through previous months, or the last quarter to be precise. And it's time we go into human relations, or will I say humanitarian, or will I say, you know, human relations issues that affect us all, because I just feel that there are quite a number of stories that we've taken in the political arena and all of that. And today we are focusing on all sorts of hot trending stories that we've found on the streets of Instagram, when I say social media, so to speak.
On the streets of the world.
Oh my God! And I know that the cut of social media sometimes can be so weird. But first, the first trending story that caught our attention is that of the JJC SKILLZ that confirmed early this morning, exactly around, I think, 7 or something like that, or after 7, you know, about his breakup with the actress Funke Akindele, and he broke the news to families and friends after 2 years of marital issues, and he officially declared that their relationship have gone south for quite a while. There are a lot of things. I don't know if you can pull it up right there, you know. And this morning, I don't know, a part of it was so sad. Let me come to you quickly, Dami, you know.
Look, I think I want to ask you, why were you sad?
You know, I was sad because of how the narrative of marriage today have been changed. I feel that I don't want to say our generation, you know, I'm not saying anybody should die or be sad or be depressed in a marriage that is gone, but the question is, I feel that, you know, if we can be more patient, if only if we can actually, you know, detach ourselves from self-centeredness, so to speak. I feel that that's also one of the challenges. If I know some of the things that I know today, probably, you know, I would have done it better in terms of understanding the other human relation, or managing your expectations, so to speak. And I feel that that's also some of the challenges that we are facing. Just so that my money is my money, but your money is for all of us. You know, those are the things I thought that I grew up quickly to understand. But first, I think the first story for me is the fact that the news is still very fresh, and we are yet to hear from Funke Akindele herself, you know. And you know, I would like to ask you, Dami, what do you think are our thoughts on this after when our partner, you know, or I don't want to say our ex, you know, actually put this out on his Instagram page? What do you think will be going through our mind at the moment? What's your take on this?
Well, for me, relationship is very dicey because there are two people in the boat. And I would also say that, well, she might have not loved the fact that he came out to set the record straight up. I mean, sometimes it's just better to manage it, knowing the fact that what they have on hand, being public figures on both sides. There have been allegations back and forth. They've been cheating allegations, mismanagement, misappropriation of funds and all of that. But between these two people, they are the only ones that know the actual story. If it's that they can't cope together or a level of patience, we know everybody has their individual attitude. Then when it comes to marriage, you have to drop some things, and there are some things you are on a high horse on, and like, I'm not going to back down on this principle, whatever comes. But I think that, well, how would she have even ever thought if a revered king in the Yoruba land can be served breakfast on Instagram? Who is anybody that
all right, don't go there. Let's stick to the story as right now.
So I imagine how I'm sure that she must have thought, or she would have loved that the guy just kept it silent and let everybody just be fine, and let's just pretend that nobody's knowing anything. You know some people's divorce story after like 10 years, 5 years, that, oh, they've been separated for long now. They don't bring it out. Really, I would have really loved them to keep quiet about it and just let whatever fizzle out. People will keep juxtaposing on whether it is, whether it's not. But I do not even see Funke in the category of somebody that will come and debunk a news. Because she hardly even talks. She hardly listens to criticism, or she hardly even puts her voice. Just like a character like Whiskey. If you like talk from now to next year, he will not attend to you. So I do not see her coming to counter the story, or this is my version of the story. She'll just move on in peace.
I feel that with some of the things that you've shared, right, I feel that pretense is what has led to hypocrisy in our lifestyle, because I just feel that sometimes, we want to tilt towards the adaptation of culture in the developed country that suits us. But when it comes to opening up, I've been in a place where family people will say, don't worry, keep quiet, and all sorts. And I don't think that I buy into that idea of just keeping quiet, because sometimes even keeping quiet can lead to many other ills. Also, we live in an environment, let's say, assume that, so to speak, that you're saying that she should be silent on it. She should be silent on it. She could decide to go out with an Eno. Let's say Eno is a guy, and you see people saying that, oh, already there are rumors out there that is saying infidelity, they misappropriate of funds and the likes and all of that. If, so to speak, you did not actually commit such an action in the union, and people would not know that you guys have gone your separate ways, and they're not seeing with somebody else, a friend or anything, they can easily tilt that towards you. So I don't think that I buy into that idea. And also, for someone like her, who I feel that, and I also don't also believe that she keeps quiet when it comes to her personal issues. She only wants to share when it's comfortable and ready, and when she's ready to speak, which is fine. It is only when you feel that you're in that place to say, I have healed, I'm in a better place to, look at things in a better perspective, to say, okay, this was exactly what happened. Because at the moment, emotions will be running, you never can tell. You might not even be ready to even take ownership to say that I goofed in this area. Absolutely. So on that note, I would say that, okay, maybe that's the reason why she takes her time. But if she's somebody that speaks, she speaks. When she's ready, she will tell you that, okay, this is exactly what. I saw one of her interview that she granted with Chide, and I saw how she opened up and the likes and all that. Yeah, have there been difficulty in their marriage? Of course, we knew what happened with the stepson coming out, with all that transpired in the school and the like, and also the boy's mother too coming out. So it's just unfortunate that something like this is actually happened. But I'm curious to know how they want to, manage their businesses going forward, because however you look at it, these are people that, people have, they've gotten business deals because of the celebrity status as a couple. So I'm asking, how would they move forward? How do they want to co-finance certain movie projects, so to speak? Yes, quite a number of people have said, oh, Funke Akindele is just the main producer, she's just trying to help the guy and the likes and all of that. And also, guys, it is for the public to be saying all of that. Sometimes we don't know to what extent the other party actually contribute towards. So I just feel that what's going to happen right now to their businesses? Dami, what's your take on this, on how they should manage? Do you think that couples who are divorced, who are separated, can still work together as business partners? I
saw a friend of mine shared with me a divorce proceeding, not in Nigeria, in the United Kingdom. And he said that during this divorce proceeding, the spouse, they were actually still having sexual intercourse. They were still seeing each other. They were still going out on dates, but their file was in court. So after they came to the court, one of their hearings, and the judge understood that they still slept together last night, and you're coming to court this one. The judge just threw out their case, and you know what, you people should go and settle your difference somehow. But I think that by and large, I would not like them to go the way of P Square, who are even twins from the same womb, and at the end of the day, they started having to split properties and sell And look at the story. They are back together for whatever reasons, family union. So they should consider the fact that there are 2 kids already. That's their investment, and that should be priority. So whatever is going to happen, by and large, I think that if 2 of them cannot co-manage a business, they can get a manager to run it, and they'll be interfering from the angle. But splitting and all of in another 3, 4, 5 years, like you also shared your experience, they might both be in a better position to understand. Now, we did come back to regret that we shouldn't have sold this, we shouldn't have splitted this, we should have just left it and managed ourselves somehow. That I really expect the level of maturity for them to be able to co-parent, because they have an entity in between them, which is 2 lives. So they need to take that into main priority.
So let me go back to one of the submission you gave in court. You know, I know that one of the reasons why the court actually give that 2 years of make sure that you people are separated, or you people have done your separate before you can file for divorce, because we've seen circumstances like what you've shared. I was unfortunately I was in court one day and something similar happened, and if I do someone came in with a pregnancy and the court was actually asking where the pregnancy came from, and she was, you know, trying to manage the situation and all of that. So what made the man open up to say that? Because she said something regarding to finances. The man said, what do you mean by that? After we still see each other, after am I not doing pregnancy? So I can relate to situations like that. But in these circumstances that we are talking about, I'm just thinking about, you know, the aftermath of their career, what's going to come after this, you know, the fact that being a couple have increased their followership, have increased quite a number of things, and also affected their lifestyle. However you look at it, there are a lot of freebies that comes with it. There are a lot of, you know, opportunities, access that comes with it. So how has this affected, how is this going to affect their career going forward? And I think that also one of the questions that I would like to ask, because again, I'm sorry, there are a lot of allegations out there. I really don't like to, you know, follow the trend of allegation, because like you said, only the 2 of them actually knows what really transpired in that relationship, in that marriage. But for a Funke Akindele that came into a relationship or a marriage where the man have different branches and the likes, yeah, she too had 1 or 2, you know, failed relationship and all of that. But that's human. You know, you are meeting different people that sometimes, you know, you guys might not have the same value culture. You people might not actually, you know, some people just don't have conscience. And when you talk about co-parenting peacefully, sometimes I feel that those who cause you pain, it will be a disrespect to your pain if you tend to bring them back. No, I'm talking from a place of experience. Okay. Yes, I've seen many people want to say that, okay, co-parenting peacefully. We've seen the likes of Femi Fani-Kayode and the likes and all of that, blah, blah, blah. We know how all of that played out. We know how they've come to a place of saying that they want to agreement and co-parent peacefully and the likes and all of that. But the one thing I think that in recent time I've come to understand, that I'm not saying don't co-parent peacefully, but there are certain character traits in terms of saying you want to go out on a dinner, on a this. My parents tell me that I'm an Oyibo-ish kind of person and all of that. But I realize that those who cause you pain, and you tend to bring them into your world all in the name of co-parenting and not putting a guard, is more or less like a disrespect or to your pain and what you are going through. So they can co-parent peacefully without not being friends with one another. There must be boundaries. Again, I'm asking, could it be that the fame, I stand to be corrected for all those Funke Akindele's fans out there, but I'm just letting us, let's balance our conversation. Could it be fame? You know, I just feel that sometimes, again, I feel that in an environment where we live today, women are beginning to, you know, have a voice. Women are more or less like the breadwinner. They are more conscious. They are more or less like the breadwinner of most families today. They just tend to manage it, and sometimes you see a woman giving something to someone, say it's my husband that did it. She's the one that did it. Absolutely. You know, but just to manage the whole situation. Yeah. But not many women have that culture, that conscience, you know, or to say that they want to actually do that. So I'm asking, could it be fame that actually got into her? You know, because there are quite a lot there are quite a number of allegations out there. Even before I came on air today, you know, people that I felt that are reserved, that really don't really say much and the likes, they don't want to meddle into other people's businesses. I have 1 or 2 things to say. based on the fact that they've had 1 or 2 dealings with her. Also, we have people that have also worked closely with her, the likes and all of that. Sometimes, you know, when you come with a she-boss kind of attitude to your own front, and you don't know when to drop that she-boss at the door, that they're coming inside, even if you are the breadwinner of the family, you know, these are things that I'm just saying. But guys, Dami, let's put a summary to this, you know, before I give my submission on this Funke Akindele's this. What's your take or your message to them?
I think most importantly, I like the fact that there's been no what's it called, domestic violence allegation. Verbal, probably maybe there's been some verbal altercations between them. Of course, normal for husband and wife. But moving forward, I'm very particular about the children. The children should be priority. How they can raise the children, so that the society can understand that, because there are a lot of children you see out there and somebody is blaming them that I don't blame this because your daddy did not grow, your daddy did not live with you, or your mommy left your daddy, and such vile statements that we make around, not knowing what pain must have even caused either party to have a separation. So I think I wish her well, I wish her all the best, but in summary, they should consider the children that the union has brought to life.
All right, many thanks for that. For me, right, because we are yet to hear something or hear from Funke Akindele, you know, our own official statement. Hence the reason why I feel that this story is inconclusive yet. Reason being that marriage is indeed, you know, a very strong space, you know, an institution that quite a number of people do not know what will come out of it until you are in it. So the choice of a partner that you will make, you know, I just want to emphasize that for those youths who are out there, needs to understand that can affect everything in your life, including your sanity, including raising of a child, and including all that surrounds you the rest of your life. And I feel that this is one news that we almost learned something from, because, you know, however we look at it, I feel sad for her, just like I said, that when I woke up this morning and I saw that, and I felt that, oh God, what kind of, you know, environment are we in today that, you know, people just don't have hope on how to mend their relationship going forward, and the next thing is to just up out of the relationship. And I just feel that we need to be more conscious of the children, just like, you know, one of the things that you've also read. I feel that a married that their children today, one needs to tread carefully. Like Yoruba people will say, Oja toboba ti wa, Oja tepe. You people cannot, you people will continue to communicate for the rest of your life. And it is not now that we are seeing quite a number of rumors that are out there regarding their marriage and the likes. It's because they are celebrities. That's the reason why we are even hearing. There are quite a number of people who are also going through similar situation right now, but because they are not in the public space. Absolutely. So I've started hearing all sorts of stories, just like you said, that, you know, there's misappropriation of funds and infidelity right there. However this case may be, they should apply patience to their issues. I tell people that, you know, if I knew what I knew back then, you know, perhaps my stories would have been different. And when I say different, it's not that I did really anything wrong, except the fact that when I'm angry, my voice will go up. Yes,
that's human factor.
This is me taking ownership. But at the other side of it, that even my voice going off, I can also kill you with my silence. So sometimes you would prefer for me to actually speak so that you know what is inside of me.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you that, you know, in retrospect today, you know, taking ownership to say that, okay, maybe because of the fact that when you've lost total respect for the other party, you just start, you know, talking like that. But these days, I feel that, you know, we all need to be patient. We need to be patient. We need to exercise patience. I need to emphasize on that when it comes to marriage, because I feel that that is lacking in marriages of today. I'm not saying that there are no issues in people's relationship or marriage, but we need to also understand that on this platform, we are not here to come and bring down anybody, but to educate people as much as we can, because these days, you know, our grandparents used to be more patient, you know, or back then our grandparents used to be more patient. But these days, you know, the patience has, you know, gone under,
level is zero.
Has gone under the carpet, and I feel that that is the reason why I'm saying that we must emphasize, we must exercise patience, because the generation that we are in today, you know, there are loads of marriages that are broken. There are a lot of marriages that will wake up tomorrow that will hear all sorts again. Except if, you know, Funke Akindele's partner can come and say, I have different branches, you know, I want polygamy and the likes and all of that. And that's the reason why I feel that if I know some of the things I know today, probably, exactly, probably, you know, I would have, you know, because I feel that today I've grown into a place of marriage dynamism, you know, and not, you know, marriage redundance, you know, and that is where I am today. And I wish that, again, people can understand that, you know, people grow and you tend to understand certain things and ask yourself, is it even worth it? So nobody is saying that they should stick to their marriage by force, by fire, but children should also be their priority. Nonetheless, I'm appealing to them, to Funke Akindele, you know, use Femi Kayode as an example, and Precious, you know, they've gone their separate. A lot was said. We don't want such a situation that their own divorce or separation will also play out like that. Let's be conscious of our environment. Quickly, we are running out of time. Gosh, before Moses will start running commentary in my ear. All right, so the second trending story that caught our attention is that of the risk of 15 years in jail. That oh my God, that if you rent a property from a Yahoo, EFCC is saying that EFCC is saying that landlords, you know, will spend 15 years in jail. You know, this is so unfortunate, and I feel that the statement from EFCC in recent, I really don't buy any, but quickly, for me to even go against it, you should understand. What's your take on this?
Well, I think that good and bad plays out almost the same way. Like I always say, God is a God of options. He's giving us left and right. Sometimes we also see that most of these menace started from the choice of our greed, in the sense that if your house is supposed to be rented at 200,000, you are finding somebody who has free money and wants to even be top priority, and he's saying, no, okay, don't worry, I can pay 300 for it. Even in hotel cases, and these boys are jumping in there. Before you know, you are renting your house to one person is becoming 3 is becoming 5 is becoming 9, and you have a bunch of adults in the house doing what? Committing cybercrime. So sometimes, yes, if they don't use that one to pull landlords' ESF, some of them, their head no go straight. But I think that of course there's a pattern to our constitution and how we rule. EFCC cannot just say, what if the landlord did not even know? What if the landlord does not even live here in the country and the agents are greedy enough to say, okay, who has money, highest bidder? Because you'll find out that there are times that people go house hunting and they are chasing you on the phone like, somebody have brought money. It's just because the way you spoke, you know, madam, the way you spoke, we know that you are Omoluabi, you will not give us problem. And in quotes, some landlords will say, oh, I don't want to give my house to a single woman because, you know, maybe she'll start bringing in men or she'll have difficulties renewing rent. So I want business people, I want family people. And we've created all sorts of imposition on ourselves. Hence, this is why most of our landlords fall into Yahoo hands, because truly they don't care any amount. The money is there. It's like it's free money. Then you want to pay 200 naira, they're offering you 400 naira. Who will not jump at it? That's where our level of greed comes in. But I would implore the EFCC to make or do due investigations to know if the landlord is an accomplice or if he's even aware of the kind of job. Of course, there are forms that we fill. So all of these things, documentation is very important. Don't just give your house to people because you feel that, oh, they look responsible. Looks might be deceptive. But let them document so that when the day of reckoning comes, you can tender the form that this is what they told, this is what they told me, or this is the findings I made about the personality of this person. It's very important. But to just jail somebody for 15 years, you should suffer.
Me, I really do not concur with EFCC, because before now, when it comes to landlord and tenant relationship, we've seen how landlords have issue when it comes to ethnicity, when it comes to tribe, religion, and the likes and all of that. So for them to be saying that, oh, if you rent a house to a Yahoo. Sometimes I would even identify that somebody is a Yahoo, knowing that most people even lie before even wanting to get a home. So people will tell you at their misses, meanwhile they are missed because of what the mentality of the landlord, what he or she is looking out for. But however, I just feel that I need to back up their statement with some section, because I know that there is a section 3 of the Advanced Free Fraud and Other Fraud Related Offences Act that was put out there in 2006, which stated that the section must provide for a prison term between 5 and 15 years without option of fine for any person who permits his premises to be used for any offences under the act. So we should not be ignorant of this fact, if that is where EFCC is coming from. The law hides, or will I say holds rather, you know, its issues with things like this in backing up some of their policies. And I feel that we may want to also be sentimental in cases like this, but the true law is the fact that, you know, there is a constitutional law that governs this, that is guiding us to actually think about what landlords should be doing going forward, especially when it comes to seeking police clearance from them before they can give out a house to any prospective tenants. So I feel that the tenants also should, you know, be transparent enough to understand that, you know, there is more. Yes, because it's just because we are in a place of greed. If you know that you cannot even afford certain houses, do you understand? You should come to your level to say that this is what I'm going to. I'm
comfortable and I can renew.
You realize that the so-called Yahoo boys that they are talking about, what took them is greed. There's no contentment spirit in the youth of today. Everybody wants to wear bone straight hair. Everybody wants to drive G-Wagon. Hence the reason why we're facing all of these challenges. So at the end of the day, landlords will be vindicted if they follow the process by just going to the police station for clearance, and you know, they can claim that, you know, they don't know certain things and the likes, and all of that can be put to an end. But quickly, let's go on a quick break to get a message from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Multina, share happiness.
All right, glad to know you're with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is on trending stories that bind us, that interest us together as family, as one of my co-hosts, Marshall, likes to call it. And we have been discussing the major human relation news and societal topics that, you know, that binds us together on this episode on Real Talk with Kike today. But before the break, we had Real Talk on all topics like that surfaced on our timelines early this morning. That is JJC SKILLZ calling out, putting it out there that his marriage after a 2-year marital challenge have come to an end, so to speak. For now, at least they are separated. They have not officially divorced. We've also talked about the statement of the EFCC about the landlord raising 15 years jail term for letting houses to fraudsters. Again, if you want to be part of this conversation, remember the number to call is 080-988-77400. It's showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're streaming live on YouTube and of course Facebook page on Silverbird platform and on Real Talk with Kike. Again, many thanks for all you've been sharing thus far, Damilola. You know, but let's just go quickly to another story because of time. I know the other story that caught our attention is that of R.Kelly that was sentenced to 30 years in jail for sex trafficking and all sorts of federal gambling and the likes and all of that. But finally, I just feel that the case has been led to rest. The fact that, you know, I believe the victims will, to some extent, I stand to be corrected, begin to have some level of closure with this issue. There are quite a number of people that might not even find closure because of the damage that has already been done in their lives, knowing that the fact, knowing that is even in prison is still alive. So people might even still have issues with it, despite the fact that 30 years
30 years plus his age.
30 years, you know. So what's your take, Damilola? Because maybe not just, but what are the lessons you think that celebrities should be learning? Not just celebrity. If you're in the corridor of power, people generally, when it comes to character. You know, there's a book that Dr. Miles Monroe wrote. I wish that I think I need to actually start promoting that book, you know, while he was alive in the last days or years of his life. He wrote that book, Power of Character. And I feel that most of our leaders today need to hold on to that book and read it. What's your take on the lessons that should be learned? You know, do you think that the jail term will be enough to guarantee closure for the victims? Just like I said earlier, some victims might not even have closure because of the kind of damage that have been embedded on them. What's your take on this?
Well, it's rather unfortunate that the way we used to say, the way a popular saying goes around that who gets starting supposed to get finishing. R.Kelly had started, but the finishing have gone south, as they have gone bad. And that's how a lot of us, not putting into attention our character traits, that's how a lot of people end up their lives. In the sense that he who lives in a glass house shouldn't throw stone. do not do it. They feel, sometimes you feel that, oh, money can buy your way out, or you are not going to get exposed because of some reasons. There's just this mindset of, oh, everything is easy because I can afford it. No, the lesson here is that it happens a whole lot of times. A whole lot of, if it's not drugs, it's sex trafficking, it's young girls trafficking, human trafficking, and all of those different vices. Now, what am I saying? In the case of R.Kelly, we've seen also different musicians end up their life in jail. I've had a musician here in Nigeria, and of course, I'm not going to mention him. The case was swept under the carpet. He actually stabbed his wife about 10, 12 years back. Very popular guy. But if he was in a situation in a country like Nigeria...
Apologies, Dami, I have to interrupt your line of thought. We have Justin from Lagos. Many thanks, Justin, for calling on the timeline today. What's your contribution on the topic at hand?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
We can hear you. Go straight to the point, please.
Yeah, I want to comment about the topic of the EFCC saying they'll jail landlords if they rent out Yahoo boys. Oftentimes, when the government has failed, they want to put the blame on the innocent citizens. I mean, they tell landlords to put rent at 4 million, 3.5 million, 7 million. Who's going to rent it? Is it a banker? Or the normal man that does his 9 to 5? No, the government, first of all, they should regulate this house rent so every common man could afford it. You understand? A banker cannot pay 3.5 million naira. So the government first, they need to play their role. Like you saying you arrest landlords for renting out the FCC, that's total nonsense. Like, you have failed. I don't know if you're understanding me.
Yes, please.
Like, you're supposed to have a body that regulates house rent. Like, you don't just wake up and just fix rent in your house and just ask. No, you're supposed to be a body. They'll tell you your house is worth this, your house is worth this. Do not exceed this.
All right, many thanks, Jackson, for calling and making your contribution known. I understand the angle is coming from, but at the same time, I just feel that sometimes you also cut your coats. You know, when you're saying that 3.5, 4 million, 7 million naira houses, the question is, there are 1 million naira houses, there are
500,000,
you know,
yeah.
Why don't you cut your coat to the one that you know you can afford? But the youth of today, I emphasize, the youth of today want to lead the lifestyle that they do not have the money in their pockets. You know, going back to the story that we're talking about, you know, with what we're sharing.
So quite unfortunate that we've had cases of different celebrities gone to jail for one offense or the other. Chris Brown, Lindsay Lohan, Snoop Dogg, so many of them. But it now depends on what case or what offense is taking you to jail. Now, R.Kelly, I think that from now on, if we look at things like this, I mean, 10 years back down the line, we didn't know he was involved in such. If he didn't come out now, or if he went scot-free, nobody will still know. Or some people will know, but of course, it will be a very mild case. But now, looking at him about 53 or 54 years old plus 30, by the time he's out, even the song that he sang, "You Saved Me," will not be able to save him again. So may God help all of us.
All right, so many thanks for that. I want to correct a notion that, you know, many years ago, apparently many years ago, I think about 15 or 20 years ago, it was allegedly that he committed a rape crime and all of that, but he couldn't go to. But I understand that we have a caller from Port Harcourt. Excellent. Many thanks for calling. Please go straight to the topic at hand. Excellent. Are you there? Please go straight to the topic at hand. What's your contribution on the topics that we're talking about?
Yeah, first of all, I'm looking at the EFCC issue. I think here someone is trying to divert that. It is the responsibility of the landlords to know who is the Yahoo boy, or the EFCC to know who is the Yahoo boy. That they are telling that if I'm as a landlord, I think as a landlord, if I give my place for rent, then eventually they'll find out I is a Yahoo boy. They will confiscate my building. On what ground? As a law-abiding Nigerian, like, I no longer have the freedom to give my house to whom I want. It is their responsibility to find out who is a Yahoo boy, and then go after the Yahoo boy. I have no business with it. Secondly, this is not a paramount case. Landlords wake up every morning to inflate the kind of price they want on tenants. There is no regulating system. The EFCC is supposed to be looking at into this matter like, hey, landlord, on this area, this, so let's say, Lekki has this 2-bedroom flat less than X amount of money. Any landlord that goes beyond this amount is a violation of the law reporting. It's what the EFCC do. It's not to wake up one morning, landlord is telling you that we used to pay 4 million, now 6 million. EFCC is keeping quiet, and they are coming back to a landlord and say that we are taking your house for giving a house to Yahoo. But it's not a duty of a landlord to establish the Yahoo, but it's a duty of a
All right, many thanks, excellent, for your contribution on the top, one of the topics at hand. You know, while I understand the agony or the agitation of a lot of people who are calling right now, I wish I can share my experience on even the so-called agents that actually puts in houses out there and the like. But you know, if I start sharing my story right now, we are not going to finish here, because I can remember sitting on the floor of Victoria Island, I think 4 years or 3 years ago. I don't know if my PA can remember, crying, telling everybody I don't do prostitution, I don't work. How come I enter the hands of these people? So the fact that, you know, we are talking about the houses that landlords are being putting out there for tenants. The question is, even the agents, even the so-called tenant that wants to take home people's property. Again, one of my properties also once upon a time, you know, putting a tenant there, the way they actually use the property, you'll be so surprised why quite a number of people put a lot of clauses on caution, on even increasing the house rent and the likes and all of that. Only if you can do better. Now, going back to the last topic that we're talking about regarding R.Kelly, you know, my submission on this is that it is just enough to show that let no one have vices or ill in their life, because however you look at it, whether people know it or not, it will eventually haunt you or bring you down and will be out in the open. I feel that that's exactly what has happened to R.Kelly today. You know, as a role model to many people, those quite a number of people on the street of social media just take on role models without even them telling the people that you are there. Nobody should hold me as a role model. Yes, I'm putting it out there. But however, as celebrities, you know, you need to be careful on the kind of footprints that you are leaving out there, knowing that you have a lot of fans and followers that can easily, you know, take on to most of your character that you are putting out there. And it's just a shame that he has ended his career on this note. You know, R.Kelly was somebody that his songs, you know, motivated quite a number of people, even in churches, you know, and I feel that these are some of the issues that when you are in a developed country where you can be held accountable on certain things, are there policies in our country here where no man will actually will bring him out of these issues? But in a country where there are laws, you know, you can never see something like that be swept under the carpet. The charges are very, you know, very wicked, you know, it's wicked crimes that he has committed in terms of sex trafficking, in terms of rape, peddling of underage individuals. I believe that this will serve a lesson to quite a number of celebrities that are out there, and this also will help them to actually end some, you know, criminal acts. I know that you spoke about quite a number of you mentioned some celebrities out there. Look at Cosby as a celebrity that I can tell you that for someone like me, you know, I didn't like cartoon growing up, you know, but the likes of his comic whatever was what actually kept me busy. So you growing up and hearing all sorts of criminal acts that he also, you know, it's just unfortunate. I just feel that this will teach a lot of people in terms of self-discipline, in terms of self-control. You have to understand that fame is not just enough for you to carry a certain behavior and think that you cannot be held responsible. It shouldn't be a means of misbehavior or misdirection for your followers or fans, or thinking that you can now use those fans and those followers in a way to actually, you know, for your own selfish interests, you know. But quickly, we are running out of time right now. The fourth trending story that caught our attention is that of the Nigerian. Okay, all right, we'll go on a quick break to get a word from our sponsors. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
I used to care for the world's opinion. I used to fear their rejection. I used to beg for validation. And I used to wait to be seen. But the fire that burned in me was hotter.
Multina, share happiness.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. Of course, another Nigerian out there who committed a crime, fraud, actually, Olatunji, who has been jailed to 235 years imprisonment. You know, when I saw this, all in the name of what again? I'm not looking down on the crime that he committed on 525 million naira fraud, which he loses to I think Lekki houses.
Then he's going to lose his Lekki house.
Oh my God, I wish that some of our politicians can actually be behind bars right now with those number of years that have been given to this Nigeria. But let me ask you, because I feel that nobody is supporting his crime. Let me put it out there. We are not supporting his crime. No one is advocating for a criminal on this platform, Real Talk with Kike. But it seems that the jail term of 235 years is either greater than the life imprisonment itself. And I also feel that it means that they want to even jail his dead body. Because today, when I was actually looking at the story yesterday, I just felt that they're going to jail his dead body after when he's dead. I couldn't help. I was also writing it in our WhatsApp group that I don't know what is going on in our country. So it's that after when the man is gone, they will not release his dead body to the family members, but the dead body also will also go. So Dami, do you think that the jail term is too long, or should I say not deserving, despite the degree of fraud that he has committed, or despite the fact that we know quite a number of our politicians today who have embedded millions of money that are yet to be called behind bars? What's your take on this?
I think the song that comes into my mind right now is that of African China. Poor man wait if Maggie then go see him face for crime fighters. Rich man wait if money we know they see their face for crime fighters. Tell me something where I don't know. 235 years, like you said, really. I think that there's a law in North Korea. There's one of the laws. The day I was searching on North Korea. There's a law in North Korea that if you're jailed and you die in prison, I stand to be corrected, but it was what I saw. That if you're jailed and you die in prison, that I think your first child, boy, your first son, will continue the jail term. It's very crazy in that North Korea. Nobody even who goes to North Korea anyway. But now, by and large, I'm saying 235 years. Kila Ju. What did we carry? What did you throw? We carry block. You throw iron. For what? We not people that should be there for 800 years, man. We not people that should be there for 1 million years. Just abandon them and their life and everything there. For 235 years, kilo day. Tamper justice with mercy. Oga George.
Alright.
I think the guy had offended. You have collected the wife, the judge before. You not come out of it. Get in there. Because what's the assurance that the guy will stay another 10 years alive? 10 minus 235. What you put 225? Then what will happen? But I know, of course, again, that I think in the military or in the police, when you are found in a station that is not supposed to be yours, or you're on duty somewhere and you're not supposed to be there, there's something they call it. They actually chain your grave. I know that all of the Nigerian army. Until when that tenure is completed, then the guy remove the sheke. The guy remove the chain there. But the Nigerians, we are never realistic. That's the truth. We are never realistic. Even would have removed small out of the bar. It's too much. The guy gone will just die in prison before the time. But I'm saying that, of course, for fraud, if we begin to enforce and enshrine such laws, and you already know that if you steal, whoever you are, not minding the status, be he ex-governor, ex-commissioner, minister, former accountant general, anybody you are in court and you thief, your jail term starts from 200 years. Maybe they will even be suffering on us. They will not be stealing this money this much. But I think that it is very important for everybody to learn, and learning the hard way sometimes is the only way.
All right, many thanks for your comic submission right there. But I just feel that our youth should always learn again from this situation, and remember that slow and steady wins the race. Because as far as I'm concerned, I feel that for one of my guests that I brought on my radio program yesterday, who emphasized on craft and skills, I feel that we all need to learn a craft or two, learn a trade, improve yourself, develop your capacity, and of course the world will pay you for whatever thing you've learned. That is what people do not understand, because of the greed that is out there and the fact that people want to live a lifestyle that cannot be accounted before. That's the reason why you see that people go into all sorts of criminal acts. And I feel that for those who are listening to us right now, I just really wish that, you know, you can save your name, not just your family name, you know, and your dignity, and understand that all this is not necessary, and you can do right by just taking each day as it comes. And remember that consistency will actually bet your goal, and you will become a better person. All right, quickly, because of time, the last story today is that of Tinubu's running mate, Kabiru Masari, who becomes an accomplice to missing certificate, and the complicated controversy for Tinubu, as far as I'm concerned right now, is under fire again for his certificate. You know, seriously, Dami, it's just unfortunate. I feel that Tinubu, Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu, you know, have to publicly address this. Just like I said in my previous submission last week, where some people even came after me on my social media and started saying also, I don't know whether they did not understand that this platform is non-partisan and partisan. I think it's important for me to emphasize on that. You know, but the fact that, you know, publicly is here to address this, I feel that it's important for him to come out in terms of owning his own certificate controversy, and he has chosen a vice again that have also come out to say that he doesn't have a certificate and the likes. And, you know, I'm sorry to say this, Dami, people are beginning to label APC as the camp of no certificate, and it's not funny. You know, what kind of party is that? We can't just no, we can't just carry on like this. Imagine where people want to, you see the youth of today, that they are hungry to say that they want to be involved, and there must be an inclusion also for women to join a party, and all of this is going on out there. You will be confused, even if you are saying that you don't mind joining APC, but you are hearing all of this. That's not how you want to join. So what are these kind of things that we are hearing? What's your take on it?
I think firstly, I would say it boils down to character, it boils down to integrity, it boils down to accountability, it boils down to sympathy, empathy, because if you love the people you want to serve, you'll be truthful with them or to them, however you like it. It's just like you have domestic staffs in your house, and every other day you watch them, they are gloomy, they are not happy, and you are not concerned. It should be a thing of concern to you. Why are these people looking like this? They live with you, they work with you, yet they are showing signs of gross unhappiness, and you are not perturbed. It doesn't bother you. That's how they take us for a joke. And in one of the what's it called, research I was actually doing, I saw that Ahmed Kabiru Masari, who is a cousin to the current Katsina State Governor Aminu Bello Masari, that he completed his graduation from Dublin Institute of Technology. I stand to be corrected, but I saw that somewhere on the social media space on Google. So I'm thinking, is this some kind of deliberate action to say, okay, when they shout and they keep quiet, we'll push on? Because Nigeria, with our kind of educational qualifications and so many professors, so many science, lawyers, different educational qualifications, then we don't even know who. I mean, it's not even about what are you hiding? That's where, let me go there. What are you hiding? It seems that something is really fishy that they are trying to talk under, because now if you say vice president does not have, vice president have, people will put more light on the president who does not have. But it's like a deliberate thing, like let two of us say we don't have, they've given us the flag already, we'll push on however it is. But I think that I've also seen some groups calling on the IGP to arrest Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which I think that is bleak. It does not look fruitful. It does not look like it will happen based on certificate. But he was governor of Lagos State in 1999. What certificates did he tender to INEC before he became governor? So all of these things are interwoven, and it just shows an action of deliberate. So I don't know the Oyinbo to qualify it, but I think there's more to it.
So I hear you, but I want to even assume that someone cannot find, or you cannot lay your hands on your certificate. You went to a school, and you can actually reach out to that school, and they will definitely get you another certificate. Also, for the vice to actually come out, knowing that there's a lot of controversy around the around Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu's certificate, for him to come out and also claim the same thing. I'm beginning to look at it from a form of strategy. What do I mean by that? Because they know that at the end of the day, they could decide to say, oh, pick another running mate or something like that. Hence the reason why he needed to push Kabiru to the front at that time. So it could be a form of strategy. You know, anything happens in politics. Absolutely. And they come up with all sorts of strategy to kind of, you know, have headway over the other party and the likes and all of that, because it really doesn't make sense to me that both what's it called, president and vice president will say that they don't. Does it speak well for their leadership people to come from, you know, from that place of saying that they don't have certificate? How do they want to govern the people? Let's start from there. How are you telling people that you are even learned to some essay? It's just school living certificate that they are requesting from you. They are not asking you to go and present MBA certificate. They are not asking you to present university certificate. So it's just unfortunate. Hence the reason I'm beginning to look at it from that lenses of, could it be a form of strategy for them to pick another vice president?
But it's been alleged that even the Masari is interim, that is not the final running mate.
That's a placeholder, but at the same time, you know, placeholder, anything can change, anything can happen. He might not even ready to even put certain information out there, and they decide, you know, in a country where people are not held accountable to things, and there's no policy holding you to in terms of character, you know, we just throw things in the air and just expect that another news will cover it tomorrow and we'll all move. I think that's what we are going through right now. Guys, with that, we've come to the end of another edition of Real Talk with Kike. Of course, it's been amazing Tuesday with my co-host Damilola. I call her Atarodo. You know, she has brought life and spice to the Real Talk today. Of course, when I knew that our second Real Talker would not be on the platform today, you know, Marsha, I said, no, we're good. We're locked down. We're gonna Marsha, if you're watching, I'm not saying that I don't miss you, but I'm just saying. All right. My name is Atanda-Owo. You are?
I'm Damilola Banire.
All right. Remain kind to one another. Put a smile on someone's face.
If you do not say it, you will die. Who could say it and die peacefully?
I used to care for the world's opinion. I used to fear their rejection. I used to beg for validation. And I used to wait to be seen. But the fire that burned in me was hotter. And the passion that lived in me had a voice of its own. So I stopped waiting and started to act. I stopped fearing and started to live. And when they thought I'd fail, I stepped into my power.
Because my time is now.
I'm still Malta. Be your best.